Hi and welcome to PhD Career Stories. I'm your host today, Elisabeth Reithuber, and I'm very happy to welcome today's guest, Dr. Katharina Schwaiger. Katarina is a passionate science communicator at the Austrian Center of Industrial Biotechnology, and she holds a PhD in biotechnology from the Technical University of Graz, and already started her position as a science communicator while finishing her PhD thesis. And this is what we would like to talk about today, how she identified that science communication is the path she would like to go, and how she managed to enable this seamless continuation from her PhD to the position she's holding today. So, very welcome, Katarina, and thank you very much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you very much, Elisabeth, for this great introduction. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very honored to share my story with PhD Career Stories. And I hope your listeners enjoy this episode. Thank you.
Thank you very much and warm welcome. May I hand you the first question directly? So, where did you get the drive to be so proactive during the last phase of your PhD?
In the last phase of my PhD, actually, this was still when Corona crisis proceeded. And I had a very hard time in the Corona crisis really to stick to my wish to finish the PhD. Because I really enjoyed this lab work, standing in the lab, doing the bench work and so on. And then I was writing my first publication, my manuscript, and I was starting, to again somehow think, why did I go into science exactly? So what is your drive? So I really actively contemplated about my situation, and I think at the end of my PhD, I really learned to enjoy writing the papers, to enjoy doing this literature research, and to broaden my interest into also other not so close related scientific topics. And I thought science communication is a very nice way to have, let's say, this intense engagement with scientific topics on the one hand side, where I did my PhD, but also to have a look outside of this box and to get into contact with other scientific topics. And this was actually also during the Corona. I think Corona crisis really helped me in this situation.
So, was it that you had more time to contemplate, or was it also something else special about the
Yes.
health crisis?
Yeah, I think it was also, of course, Corona crisis is, of course, also the reason why I actually got aware of science communication in the first place. I mean, I already knew it from before, but there were so many things in the media everywhere around during this crisis, and a lot of things also went wrong, and also this separation of the society, of course, shocked me, because I was like in a bubble of like-minded people when I did my PhD. I was I was discussing with my colleagues about Corona crisis, but also about other scientific topics. But yeah, you're moving yourself in a bubble. And it shocked me at the first place. And I wanted to also, of course, contribute something to, to just make a cleanup with this fake news, for example. So this was also, I would say, a reason. But another thing was that I really had time to contemplate and get back to my old motivation, my intrinsic motivation, why I actually wanted to go into natural sciences, because it is my fascination. And I also want to share this fascination with other people and not just, prevent this science skepticism. So it's like these two ways of motivation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really lovely and very strong motivators as well. But so, could you maybe describe a little bit more the situation you have been in now, writing your thesis, starting your job? How did you handle that? How do you maybe also partition your time? It seems like very intense.
Yeah, also when I was finishing my PhD, I was already getting another perspective of a career. So I wanted to get new opportunities. I wanted to have a new priority, maybe even. And because for me, it was not really. Not really motivating staying in research because I wanted to broaden my scientific interest or scientific knowledge, let's say, expertise maybe. I don't know if if you can say it like that, but the driver was really to go a bit more into to broaden my knowledge. And I think this when I was finishing my PhD, um, or let's start a different way. I was doing my PhD thesis in an EU project which was called Carbafin, and there I was doing the research, of course. But EU projects also require a work package which focuses on dissemination and exploitation. And this part was done by ACIB, by Science Communication Team of ACIB. And there I got to know the Science Communication Team a bit more, a bit better. And in the end, I thought like Katrin Weinhandel, who is actually now my working colleague, she did such a great work in this project where I was in, and I thought it would be great if I could also do something like this, because you are creative, you can really work very creative, but you're still in a close contact with the researchers, and that's why I think this is also maybe a reason. Because I got into contact very early, also in this Carbafin project in the PhD, and by the end of the PhD, then I asked if it would be possible that I could already join their team, maybe. And
Okay.
it was an intense time, of course, but still, I had really I had the privilege to have very flexible working times. So my professor knew that I was working already in the science communication team, but also the science communication team knew that I have to finish my PhD, or that I want to finish my PhD as soon as possible. So I was very privileged, let's say. So I also know it from other colleagues that this can be a really intense time if you are already in a company doing an 8 hour job or full-time job, and then after work you have to sit down and write on the manuscript. This can be really intense, but this is not the case with me. But I enjoyed
Okay.
the work both.
Yeah. Oh, that's really great. And how? So it was basically networking that got you the way, and actually, I mean, courage, right? You dare to ask the question if they would need another person on top. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was not, I did not have to be this brave because they were part of this Carbofin project, of course. So we knew each other already.
Mhm.
But still, I was wondering if maybe they are even looking for someone. Maybe they are, maybe they need someone. Um, and that's why I just asked, and yeah, sure.
Cool. Yeah, that's really great. Um, and maybe on this job, because did you already, while working on this EU project, were involved in science communication, or was it then? I mean, was the science communication team consulting you, or did you already, did your first endeavors in the new field?
No, actually, it was. I was also doing some workshops even before the Carbofin project was finished,
Mhm.
um, because we had another colleague of mine. She was organizing these workshops. She's already in this science communication team, and she was also in charge of this dissemination work package of carbafin. And they asked the PhD students if they are motivated to host some workshops and doing some experiments with pupils. So this was this I already did, and after the carbafin project was finished, I still had to finish my PhD thesis. I was working with the science communication team, let's say more than 20 hours, so almost full time. But I still had to finish the manuscript of my thesis, and I was there already holding also these workshops, organizing some workshops for schools for pupils, and yeah, this is really great because it is so rewarding. Really being in contact with young people who are fascinated about science as well, and I was I was establishing some experiments they could do in the lab, and it was really great. And I really loved this work, and I'm still doing it. So
Yeah, no, that sounds very, very giving also to really
exactly, it
have
is.
your
Yes,
audience so close and yeah, share
seeing
your
them.
passion.
Yeah, seeing them fascinated about things you were fascinated back then in school is so cool. And if when they have these aha moments, it's very rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Um, but so, giving workshops to pupils, that's not something we are used to do. At least I haven't been. So what skills do you think you needed to do this that you maybe already had due to your scientific PhD education, or things that you also needed to learn and acquire on the job, so to say, or
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So it was giving workshops, of course, is not something very easy. I would say because you have to sometimes present complex scientific processes or biological chemical processes to pupils who don't have such a big pre-knowledge about, I don't know, photosynthesis, for example. and we know it is a very complex topic. So presenting these this science, not too complex, is very challenging. At the first place, if you are always um, in if you're always only reading scientific papers, for example,
Yeah.
or something like this. So
Yeah.
you have to find the right wording, do not use technical terms. Also, the design, how you prepare your PowerPoint slides, for example, such small things, which I already really enjoyed doing when I was preparing some conference talks of mine. So I really enjoyed to design the slides and to present it in a very visually attractive way. So that also people who are not really familiar with the scientific topic can understand it. And I think, yeah, this is maybe a skill you have to have. And you also have to see if something is getting too complex or too specific. You have to see if are certain details necessary to understand the whole process, the whole chemical process behind, or to understand, I don't know, science, a scientific topic in general. And this is, I think this you have to learn, and I also had to learn. Also, when I was writing, for example, blog articles, Katrin Weinhandel, I already mentioned her before. She's in the science communication team as well. She also said, you are using too many technical terms. No one will understand it if you. So, of course, you have to really focus on that. But another thing is also, for example, I never really used social media for me personally. I was never really interested in it to promote myself, let's say, which is also good to have if you do it already in your PhD, because of course other people get to know you and get aware of you. If you're posting, for example, that you have a conference talk, and it is shared by the university or whatever, other people will get aware of you. But this I haven't done. And social media was a completely new field for me, and now I am the social media manager of ACIB. So this I had to learn. It was completely new for me, but now I think I can say I know how to use hashtags, to find the right content and so on.
And you acquired those skills yourself, or did you have some
yeah,
mentors?
No, I would say I required it myself, yes, because sure, the social media channels before were not so often, they did not have so many posts before. So I think I really, when I overtook it, it was, it was not so well established social media channels, let's say. And now, um, yeah, now I feel more comfortable also writing a post. I'm more efficient and so on. So I think, the skills, I think I did it by myself, but I have also to mention that I visited one webinar. It was in the very beginning when I still was doing my PhD. And this was also helping me a lot for the really beginning to start with the social media channels. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and you briefly touched upon that, but how did a PhD help you in that? Reading a lot of scientific information, and what else? Which skills could you profit from now in your job?
Yeah, that's really good. Good question, because the PhD, of course, maybe is not necessary to be a science communicator, but I think if you have a PhD, you can, of course, maybe to distinguish better scientific publications, which are scientifically a bit more valuable.
Yeah, yeah.
And others who are not so high valuable. But I think also if you are in contact with the researchers, for example, in EU projects or so, and you are the science communicator, you're not really the researcher involved as a researcher in this project. It is good to have a certain scientific background, because otherwise you would not really follow the presentations. You cannot really follow them. And you can also ask questions if you are understanding a little bit more than just I don't know. It's difficult for me to tell, but I think I'm really glad to have the PhD now, because now I'm in a completely different science topic with science communication, because this is a biomedical research project I am in now, and I'm doing this dissemination and exploitation. And with biomedical research, neuroscience, and so on, I did not had too much experience, of course, from my biotechnology background. However, I studied biochemistry in a master's, so a little bit I know still. But and I think here it is really, really good to. I think you are more efficient to get familiar again with a different topic, which is not so closely related to your PhD. So I think it really helps, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And you are taken little bit more for granted, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And I mean, you also know maybe how tricky it is sometimes to come to get those results, and that it's not always so easy to have it black and white. I mean, there, yeah, I guess.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
So this,
That's a good point. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Well, so yeah, that's really cool. So it seems like you grew also quite a lot in your role, and it's also very, very diverse. I mean, from what you mentioned, you're working with pupils, you're writing blogs, you're uh, doing social media outreach, and you're working in EU projects. So this seems to be a very
Exactly. Yeah.
varying job. Really interesting.
Yeah,
So,
and
sorry.
that's true. It is.
Yeah.
It is. So one project is, for example, a pure science communication project where we are organizing an open science event in Graz. And yeah, this is completely different to the other EU project where I am the work package leader of this biomedical research project. So it's really diverse. Yes.
Yeah. No, really fascinating. Um, so I was wondering also, did you ever, during this transition period, or did you ever doubt maybe that this is the right path, or that that this is what you would go forward with?
During this transition period, no, but before.
Okay.
So yeah, so during this transition period, I really had a focus on yeah, I want to do this. I really had this intrinsic motivation. I want to go out and talk to the people and yeah, to also share this fascination for science with people. This was the intrinsic motivation. So there I did not have doubts at all. But before I really decided to go into this direction, I had doubts, yes, because I think everybody who did a PhD knows that there are sometimes difficult times as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had some self doubts, of course, because this was also maybe during this or at the very beginning of the Corona pandemic, and also some private things are not maybe not so perfect, and yeah, a lot of things come together, and um, you're really wondering, is it really the right decision doing a PhD? Is it the right topic? Um, and so on. So I think everybody has this, and I had it like a lot of times also in between. I mean, it's like a roller coaster, up and downs again. But once, so one period was really where I really thought about quitting the PhD, and yeah, and then I also, but I had the opportunity um, to get a life coach, and this really helped me finding the focus again, or finding my inner wish, or my inner um, how to say it, um, yeah, the motivation again for science, for also this topic I was doing in my PhD, and yeah, this motivation, it came back with this life coach. And the cool thing was that actually the life coach did not things suggest something to do, but it was more that I by myself got aware, or recognized again why I went into science, why, and this passion for science. And so yeah, I recognized it again, and it was more like this philosophical, um, in a philosophical context, which lead me to into science. And I again learned to go into myself. It sounds really, I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah.
but going inside and really focus on your feelings, on your motivation, what triggers you, what triggers your fascination, what triggers your passion, and what causes it. And then being open for new perspectives, for new career opportunities as well, also embracing a new priority or something like this. So this was really helping me in that time, and
Yeah.
yeah, it worked.
Yeah, really great also that you had the courage to reach out and ask for help and get some guidance, because
Yeah,
this is indeed can indeed be very, very valuable. Yeah,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I'm
Yeah,
very thankful also. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, that's, and this can also be inspiring to someone else, maybe, to in situations where it's not so easy to just reach out. And I mean, I think you also did it for now when you looked or asked people if they need someone. I mean, was again where you reached out and asked, and
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
so this is really, really great.
So yeah, really being active is maybe a good point. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I think you have a really inspiring story. And before wrapping up our discussion, do you have anything you would like to add, or maybe some tips you want to share with listeners that might be in the same situation? Towards the end of a PhD, trying to orient and look into the future.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, some advice. Maybe to just follow up on this what I just said. Maybe from time to time start to contemplate, to really focus on your intrinsic motivation, what are causing your emotions. If you have a situation you are struggling with, just try to to focus on your emotions, where they are coming from, and maybe also because then you can more objectively find a solution for certain situations. And maybe the second one is be open-minded also for other possibilities, for other opportunities of your career path, because I think this is also sometimes you are like I don't know. Sometimes you have just like such a tunneling um, thinking, and I think it often is very relieving if you just try um, to find another path, and to another priority maybe. That's that's also something important, maybe for me it was, at least. So exactly. And you, in your PhD career stories, you're also having a lot of different opportunities, or
Exactly.
presenting a lot of different opportunities, so
That's
that's
true.
great.
Yeah, yeah. There is a lot outside if one
Yeah,
dares to
exactly.
and wants to explore. Also, yeah.
Exactly. And I think there are also some agencies which are really on this topic. So they give you advice on different PhD career opportunities as well. So that's also a very cool thing, I think. And
Yeah.
the last thing is, of course, very obvious. So take the chance to also speak at conferences, at networking events, outreaching events, etc. Because also maybe take the chance of using social media,
Mhm.
that people get aware of you and of your research, and talk to the people. Maybe also don't hesitate to talk to your idol. I don't know if you have, and yeah, also feel the fear sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No. Thanks a lot, Katarina. That was very, very inspiring, and yeah, to hear your story, and also to feel the passion you are having.
Thank you.
uh, yeah. Thanks a lot for your time, also, and. Yeah, this was another episode from us from PhD Career Stories. Stay connected with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, so that you don't miss another episode. And yeah, this is us signing off for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.